It was a little pebble at just the right time, dropped into the water of my life, not only my career, but my own, what now is a huge passion for me personally.
What is it that I can do as a teacher, as an educator, to reshape the way that I'm thinking about the curriculum?
I wanted to create an exciting program, something that I was passionate about and something that the kids could be excited about.
It has truly become like a community thing where everybody comes together for the greater good.
The fellowship changed the way I teach over time. That first trip was kind of like the spark that ignited a larger fire.
I think that's the real power behind a Fund for Teachers Fellowship itself, is that you, as a teacher, are in a completely new environment. So to be in the field with kids and have that come true is one of those moments that stays with you for a long time.
Well, I'm Donna Gradel, and I teach at Broken Arrow Senior High School in Oklahoma, and I teach environmental science. I went to Kenya. My first trip was in 2004, and at that point, I noticed that they had fish ponds everywhere. The government had promoted this harvesting of tilapia. And basically, the requirements were you dug a hole, 1.5 feet, put a liner in, and they would come and stock it with tilapia fingerlings. So by the time I arrived in 2004, what there were very unhealthy fish in these ponds. So in my mind, I was thinking right then, how could we do something to help to produce a healthy harvest? When we studied in my class about clean water initiatives and protein deficiency and malnutrition around the world, all the students would constantly ask me, we want to do something to help. What can we do to help? They wanted to be involved in solving a real world problem. And that's where everything clicked. We targeted in on an orphanage that is in a very remote region called the Tharaka region. And it's very arid, very poor. There's no electricity, and there's no running water. The object was twofold. Number one, to find a place to start what we call an aquaponics system. And number two, to look for a place to see if we could drill a water well where there was a high need area. It just revolutionized my teaching in my classroom. Students were just so excited, students that weren't even in my class. And they came up with a campaign, and it was called Aqua for Tharaka. They did all the artwork, they designed t-shirts, they designed water bottles, and we sold them. And we raised money to drill a water well out in the Tharaka region. At the same time, we started working on the aquaponic part. Aquaponics is a sustainable system. And what you do is you take the water from the fish pond with all the waste from the fish, and you run it into grow beds where you harvest plants. The plants will use the nitrates or the waste, clean the water, and then you cycle it back into the fish pond. The aquaponics system provides clean water for the fish. It also provides nutrients for the vegetables so that you don't have to use soil. I had over 100 students, put them into groups, and they built 30 prototypes. And from those prototypes, we learned all kinds of wonderful things. The students were so engaged because we were seeing how quickly the fish were growing, how quickly the plants were growing. We monitored the water levels. We monitored the evaporation rate. And we had some models that used a siphon. We had other ones that were circular. So all these things we collected, all this information and data that eventually went into our final model that we actually went and built in Tharaka. The entire project had an amazing impact on my students, and not just the 5 that went. It was on every student because every student took ownership. They were all excited because they had helped raise the money, or they had helped build something that was going to help people that were less fortunate. And that was the end goal.
If you can find a way to make it real to a child, where they actually think there's something tangible I will get out of this, they're all in.
And so that when those kids do achieve those goals, they feel proud of the work they've done. And I think this is going to have effects in every area of their life.
If you think about the people who change the world, they're people who have the mind that can think and solve problems, but they also have a heart of compassion.
And I just stand back in awe of them sometimes because I'm amazed at the things that have come from it.